Well, good morning and welcome to the HR TailorMade Live Series, Conversations with Consultants. I'm your host, Dr. Tiffany Slater. I am the CEO of HR TailorMade, and HR TailorMade is what? The HR solution for small businesses. With these conversations, we hope to make very clear that you don't have to wear all the hats, and there are tons of awesome experts available to assist you to assist you and help you grow your business. My guest today will help me talk about what it's like to be married to an entrepreneur. He is one of my favorite people, my best friend, my cheerleader, and my boo, aka the husband, Michael Slater. He is shaking his head like, oh Lord, what is she going to say to me? But I am so excited to introduce you to my husband. When I refer to you in public, I say the husband. So welcome, Michael. How are you?
Thank you very much for having me. I think I'm good. How are you?
I am good. So, Michael, how does it feel to be interviewed by your wife?
The introduction was interesting, but I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Well, Michael, so not many people know, probably just the people that know us personally, that we are both entrepreneurs and we don't work in the same business. We have our own things that we do. So I just thought it'd be really cool to have you on and let's talk about that dynamic. And one, talk about that dynamic, and two, show people how it really can be fun. So first, let's tell people what you do.
Well, I appreciate that. I am an IT consultant. I have an engineering degree, and I've worked for a lot of large corporations and gained a lot of experience, and it was awesome. For a long time, I felt like I wanted to do something different. A lot of people say they want to own their own business, but I'd like to think that I had different reasons and different motivations, but IT has always kind of been my thing. So I do have an IT consulting firm that does a lot of different things. We can work on software development projects. We can help with hardware and software. We can help with IT and other professional staffing. There's a lot of things that we do.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. So why did you start your own business?
A lot of people do this so they can get rich, and don't get me wrong, financial stability is a great motivation, but from a very young age, I just always wanted to be in control of my time. And, working for others, you have that necessary evil, if I can call it that, of that whole evaluation period. Some organizations do evaluations quarterly, some do them at mid-year and then end of year, some just do it once a year. It was always something that just never sat well with me, someone else telling me what my value was. And knowing the work that I put in, knowing the value that I felt that I brought to the table just didn't always mesh. That may seem a little, I don't know, it makes me feel a little uncomfortable to say arrogant, perhaps, but that's not really what it is, right? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that can identify with the fact that you know what you put in, you know the hours that you spend, you know what happens within your team, but to have someone else come in and say, yeah, but that just, that was just something that never really sat well with me, but, and that was just a small part of it. But again, as you know, we've got a young family, and I want to spend as much time with them as possible, whether it's just here around the house, whether it's coaching their teams, whether it's just going to watch, to be a dad and a fan. And then I have other interests, again, the people that know us know that I have a passion for coaching. I've been a high school basketball coach for 20 years. And so, I'd like to be able to spend my time doing other things. I don't want my entire existence to surround what I do for a living. And that really is, or has been, my primary motivation.
Yeah. Well, let me take you back just a little bit.
Take me
You
back.
you said you said that some people go into starting their own business to get rich, and you don't want to get rich. Let me say for the record, I want you
Wait
to
a
get.
minute. I never said I didn't want to get rich.
You didn't go into it to get rich.
No, I never said that. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, you think about it, before we got married, right? We had that conversation, and I said to you, and I don't even know if you remember these words specifically, but I made a good living. I make no bones about that. But I said, in essence, I don't have to make another dollar more than what I did at the time, as long as it was consistent, as long as, again, we weren't married, but I was kind of projecting, as if our family is taken care of, that's fine, right?
Mhm.
As long as we can do the things that we want to do. And again, don't get me wrong, I have ambition just like anyone else. If I can, make enough money to burn, as they say, that's great. But at the end of the day, it sounds cliche, but when you're 80, 90 years old, you're not going to look back to think, man, I wish I spent more hours in the office. Man, I wish I spent more hours in front of that computer. That's not, it's just not my motivation, excuse me. But you do tend to say, gosh, man, I really wish I spent more time with the kids. Man, I wish I spent more time with the spouse, or, doing that thing that I love to do, whatever that is. So yeah, of course, I want to make as much as I can, but that's not the end game for me.
Gotcha. Well, what is the end game? Is it more time with your family? Is it more time playing golf? Is it more time coaching?
Well, all of the above. I want to be what those close to me in my life need me to be. And I
Yeah.
want to be there when they need me. Right. So, if you can kind of look around, yeah, there's a ton of things that we want to do as a family, but we have everything we need. And
Yeah.
so that's good. I'm good there. Right. And those that know me when I wear my coaching hat, they know that you can attest to that. I spend a ton of time scouting, watching film, doing all that. So it's not that I need to do more of it, but I truly appreciate the fact that all of the things that I enjoy doing can coexist. And I'm not looking at the clock saying, oh, I got to be here because this organization needs me. But again, and let me just stop right there to say, hey, as a consultant, my clients are a priority, right?
Yeah.
So I'm absolutely going to do that, but
Yeah.
I do know how to turn it on and off.
Yeah.
And I feel very blessed to kind of have that mechanism, because a lot of people don't.
Yeah. One of the things that I love about you is that when you are working, no one would ever be able to tell that that's not your first love, because you go hard and you really do put your all into everything that you do. So I really love that about you.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Thank you for being a great example.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's switch gears a little bit. You ready? Let's talk about being married to an entrepreneur. Do you feel like it has changed our relationship at all, being married to an entrepreneur? So let me take them back just a little bit, because you've been an entrepreneur for what, 5, 6 years now?
5-ish, yeah.
5 years. I've only been an entrepreneur for 2 years.
Mhm.
So how do you think that being being married to an entrepreneur has changed our relationship?
Um,
Don't get in
I don't,
trouble.
no. Hey, look, I stay in trouble, but no, I don't know that it's necessarily changed our relationship. It's changed you.
Okay.
I'm sure you can see that.
Mhm.
Um, But in terms of our relationship, I don't think that's changed. You know, we all at some point have challenges where we work, right? And, you know, and you had your fair share, and I could see that. And even before I began the journey of being an entrepreneur,
Mhm.
I still had a very different outlook, right?
Mhm.
And that's fine, you know, different strokes for different folks, as they say, right? But I just handled things differently, and being an entrepreneur, in my opinion, for you, has just kind of opened up this whole new persona, right? That might sound a little silly, but it really has. You're truly happier.
Yeah.
And that's not to say, again, I'll kind of go back to what I was saying before. That's not to say you don't work any less,
Yeah.
but you enjoy what you do. You have those challenges, but you can approach those challenges differently.
Mhm.
So our relationship hasn't changed, but you have, and you've changed
Yeah.
for the better, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
And that's just, you know, that's what makes me happy about
Yeah.
your transformation.
Mhm. I love that. I really love that. And I'll say that I feel like, first of all, I definitely have changed and I am absolutely more happy and fulfilled. But I also think that because I've changed, our relationship has changed for the better. It was awesome before, but I love the fact now that I can appreciate where you are as an entrepreneur. I love the fact that I understand, you know, your challenges and, you know, your desires to make your dreams a reality, whatever they are. And so that's definitely something that I enjoy about sharing this space with you. So, what would you say are the benefits of being married to an entrepreneur?
Um, the word that kind of jumps in my brain is flexibility.
Yeah.
Um, you know, obviously having a young family, things kind of crop
Mhm.
up, right? And so um, when we need to do something, it's not as though we've got to, well, let me check with so and so. Yeah, again, you know, we've got clients, we've got other
Right.
people that look to us for different things, but it's different, right? I like to be able to choose the right words, but in this case, I'll just say it's different. And we're able to adjust a little quicker, perhaps, maybe a
Yeah.
little freer.
Yeah.
Um, so that's the main thing. I would just say the flexibility
Yeah.
enables us to kind of manage things a little differently.
And you know, for me, one of the benefits for me of us working in the house together, although we have completely different office spaces, I love the fact that we can, in the middle of the day, have lunch together, or I can bring you breakfast, or, you know, I enjoy the fact that anytime I want to see you, I can.
Oh, you're just gonna tell the people you bring me breakfast. You're
I
not gonna talk
do.
about me bringing you lunch and all
Well, hold on. Well, I wasn't well, see, that's you know, now you're talking out of shop.
oh, I mean, you know, you want people to think you so great. I mean, hey, I
Damn,
do some stuff. I do some
it's
stuff.
amazing. But so that I was gonna get to that, later. For me, one of the ways that you show your support for me as an entrepreneur, it's just, I mean, it's several ways, several things that you do. And I bring these up because I think that oftentimes people forget how to support their spouse when they are doing something, they're creating something, or they're going through a difficult time. Here are a couple things that you do for me all the time that just, all I probably say is thank you, but it means more to me than you probably know. When I'm going hard in the day, you don't even ask what we're having for dinner or did you eat lunch. You just come in my office and slide it on the desk, breakfast or lunch. I appreciate that because I know you know that I struggle with feeling like it's my responsibility that my family eats. I don't know where I got that from, but I just feel like that. And so with you always, just stepping up, not even asking the question, you just know I haven't eaten. You just bring it to me. You order it, it's done, and thank you. So I appreciate that. The other thing that you do that I love is you never ask me to stop working so hard. My kids do. They're like, you work too hard. You don't even take long baths. But you can appreciate the fact that I really am enjoying what I'm doing. And you see the benefits of my work or the fruits of my labor. So just having someone along for the ride, even as a backseat rider, passenger, it just feels good. So yeah, so thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate that. And I think there's a difference between working hard for yourself and working hard for others. I'm sure that's not a news flash for a lot of people out there, but it's just not. It's a difference, right? I mean, if you're working for another organization, sometimes you can focus on the wrong things too much, or focus on the challenges, or focus on start to sweat the small stuff a little too much, right? But when you are working for yourself, it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel like work quite as much. There's a different motivation. So I say all that to say, when I watch you struggle in other organizations, that was tougher, right? That was a lot tougher, and perhaps cause for concern. But now, and it's not to say that I don't care now, but now I know you can manage that differently, and and you're doing it from the comfort of your own home, and so that also is quite different for me.
Yeah, it definitely is. And so what are some of the drawbacks of being married to an entrepreneur? What do you think?
I think there can be times when it can become a little consuming, and you may or may not realize it, right? So, for me, I mean, you've seen me come in the house time and time again, earbuds in, and I'm talking basketball, right? And so I'm sure for you, and the kids too, I mean, I'm sure that can be times like, oh, he's talking basketball again, right? And so the same thing can happen with work, right? I mean, I've got 3 older siblings that, clearly can be workaholics in their own right. And even at a young age, I would recognize that. And my oldest brother, I could even say that to him and he'll probably laugh or shake his head. But, that can be a little dangerous, right? And so again, the drawback is, hey, don't necessarily feel like you have to talk about it all the time. Don't make that the sole topic, that consumes you, or you have to talk about this, you have to talk about that. Yeah, share stuff, and that's cool, but it doesn't have to be the topic every time, right? So it's all good.
Yeah. And for me, I'm the talker in the relationship because you're more of a mute when it comes to talking about things at times. But when I get excited about something, like, you're the first person I want to tell. And sometimes I feel like I am like just coming to you all the time, just telling you all the things. But you never give me the impression that you are rolling your eyes, your eyes are rolling to the back of your head, or because I know that my win is your win is our win. So that while it can be a drawback, it definitely is a plus as well. And so I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just, it's, and my personality is a little different, right?
Mhm.
I would always tell people, hey, I'm the greatest listener in the world, right? But I mean, sometimes people don't truly understand that because I can just listen, right? A lot of times people want to just jump in and start giving solutions, and that's really not what the communicator wants. And so sometimes it's hard, but I do try to keep my mouth shut. And even if I have a thought or an opinion, everybody doesn't always want it. So I'm always willing to listen. Now, my reaction isn't animated, right? And that probably is a little maddening, but I just, that's just not really my personality. So, but I am listening and paying attention.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like, are you still awake? What is happening over there? Because I just told you I hit the lottery. Well, I
Right.
know if I told you I hit the lottery,
Hey,
you'd be
you
animated.
see a side of me you've never seen.
I know. I appreciate that. What is the one of the funniest stories you can tell uh about us working at home together? For
Funny.
you, something that stands out where you like, I can't believe that she did that or that I did that or the kids did that.
I mean, I think it's more a function of, well, I don't know if it's cabin fever or whatever, but as you mentioned, we have different spaces. I don't know that we could be further apart in the house, but
Yeah.
the way, my space is set up, I can't really see when people are approaching. And so, how many times have I been on a Zoom or working and you sneak up and without me knowing it and I'm kind of in mid sentence? Like, that's probably the thing that I can actually share.
Right.
Um, but yeah, no, I mean, and then, with the kids, kind of being on a break from school or even in the summer, just kind of making the noise. And it's just like, oh, here we go. I hope the
Yeah.
people that, I'm talking to can't hear that. I don't know,
Right.
maybe not funny, but it's just one of those things that people can identify with the working from home and being at home with their kids.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I remember coming down there, crawling on the floor, coming under the desk and grabbing your stomach while you're on the Zoom.
Yeah, that's the one that I was thinking about. I'm like, "What?" Right. And I mean, if you're involved in a discussion, you're not really looking. I mean, even though you're right there, if I were paying attention, I could see it. But yeah, no.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny. It was
Yeah.
hilarious. And then
Okay.
you got me really good. It wasn't necessary. It was funny, but it wasn't funny. I was
Um,
recording an interview. I was being interviewed by
oh,
someone. My door was closed. You came in and you started doing the craziest dance. I lost my
oh,
stuff on that recording.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't dance. People, I don't dance.
And I was laughing so hard. I had to tell her what I was laughing at because I know she thought I was crazy. So at the end of the day,
Yeah.
being married to an entrepreneur is all about what you make it. I believe that. It can be great. I believe that it can be stressful and challenging at times. But if you have the great foundation as a married couple, I absolutely believe that it is doable and something that can be pretty amazing. So, to the husband, my boo, thank you so much for joining us today.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me. And if I could just add one thing, it can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be, right? I
Right.
mean, you really have to um, really be mindful of certain things, right? I was talking to some of my athletes. Well, I'd say this to my athletes, right? I mean, when you're in a game situation, sometimes the things you say to your teammate isn't always going to come out soft and the way you intend it to. It's not going to come out in a conversational tone,
Mhm.
but you have to remember, hey, nobody right here on this team is your enemy,
Yeah.
right? Nobody wants you to fail.
Mm.
Everybody is behind you and everybody wants you to be successful. So easier said than done. It absolutely is. And I'm certainly guilty of the same. But you have to remember in those tough moments, hey, it's my partner, it's my teammate, not against me, wants me to be my best. So if you can really just kind of stay mindful of that, the challenges can be minimized and you can kind of, keep them at bay, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And those are words to end on. My boo, my hubby. So thank you so much for Michael Slater from M&J Tech. Uh, I really appreciate you joining me today. It was a great conversation, as I knew that it would be. And I'm sure that I'll have you back at some point. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
And thank you. I'm so excited that I got a chance to talk to Michael, my husband, my partner, and fellow workmate, I guess you can say. I hope that you enjoyed that conversation and got something from it that will help you and your spouse, perhaps. And I hope that you join me next week as we talk to Jordan Kalingo. I'm saying his name wrong, I'm sure, but he's my CFO and he is also my tax advisor, and he is with Hawk Cruzy and Associates, and we will be talking all things business finance. So don't forget to let me know what your questions are so that I can make sure that I get them answered when I talk to Jordan. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, be kind to yourself.